we live? It's another week, and that means another 1,000 words. Pretty stoked because it's official. I am now 1/4 of the way done with the novel. Moving on to the second section of the book. And I did not plan today to talk about 9/11. However, today is 9/11, and my father was actually in 9/11. He was at 9/11, and I actually have a page written here about his experience there. So I thought I'd start by reading that. So, Sunday, September 11th. Every year since 2000, my dad travels to New York City for work at Penguin Random House Publishing. And he actually flew in September 10th, 2001. He flew in from San Francisco to Newark, New Jersey. He says it's easier to get to downtown New York City on a shuttle bus from Newark instead of flying into John F. Kennedy Airport and sitting in the New York City traffic. He usually gets dropped off at Penn Station in New York City. However, this time, September 10th, 2001, he decided to get off at the Twin Towers because he was going to get some dinner in that part of town. So on September 10th, my dad was dropped off at 5 p.m. at the Twin Towers, and he just was looking around. He was just hanging out, and he actually went into the Marriott Hotel directly next to the Twin Towers because it was only 1 mile away from the Penguin Random House offices where he would be working the next day. So, however, when he went in, the Marriott was a little bit too much money to spend on a room, he thought. So he took a taxi to the Chelsea district, where he stayed at an independent hotel ran by a group of old Russian people, as he described. He chose the independent hotel because it was smaller, cozier, and had a better price on rooms. So before going to sleep around midnight, he called back to San Francisco to say hi to myself, my mom, my brother, and then he went to sleep. And then my dad woke up on September 11th, 2001, around 7:30 a.m., and he needed to get to the office between 9 a.m. to 9:30. So in his hotel room, just hanging out, he was actually listening to the Howard Stern show on FM radio. And right before he was about to turn off the radio and leave for work, one of the assistants, I believe Gary, interrupted the Howard Stern show and said, "Hey, Howard, sorry to interrupt, but we just got a report that a plane hit the Twin Towers." And then Howard calmly restated what Gary said, and my dad, he left for work, and he turned off the radio, and he learned more about what was going to happen on the way to the office. That's all I've written. However, from the conversation I had with my dad, just talking about his whole experience during 9/11, like he was on the subway, and they actually stopped the subway underground, which, like, I guess they stopped the subway a lot in New York, so it's not that big of a deal. But some more people were talking about, like, hey, did you hear about, the Twin Towers? Something happened, and then when he got off and he went to his office, and they weren't, sound from the garage, they weren't working immediately. Everyone was just kind of like still talking because the Penguin Random House offices, which is a publishing company which published books, obviously, and my father's a big book guy, which is, kind of why I'm entering the book world, is because he has a lot of experience in books, and my whole life he's been giving me books to read, which I have not read all of them, nearly any, but it's in hope that I'll read this book and he can read it, because he's read all these books his whole life. He's a reader. But anyways, so he was at his Penguin Random House office, and they're all just kind of talking like, what's going on. And then the second plane hit, and people from the top of the building he was in like saw it happen. It was only like a mile away from the Twin Towers. So like when the second plane hit, that's when everyone was like really like, oh wow, like something really insane's happening. So he obviously did not walk towards the Twin Towers, nor did anyone at his offices, but the whole trip was canceled. The whole uh, Penguin Random House like yearly meeting for sales and marketing was canceled, and then he actually could not fly home because all the flights in the United States were canceled for a few days or maybe even a week. So he ended up driving from New York City all the way to Colorado and then getting on a plane in Colorado. But yeah, you had to drive, halfway across the country. So you go from Colorado to San Francisco. Initially, there was going to be a whole section in this book. Yes, I Am Busy Doing Nothing by Alex Akira about his 9/11 experiences. However, that just didn't really fit into the character type. So in the book, my dad's character does not experience 9/11, but in an earlier draft, he did. Anyways, but because today is 9/11, and I sent my dad a text. He's actually at a book conference right now in California, but I sent him a text talking about the weekend, but then saying, thankfully you didn't stay in the hotel next to the Twin Towers back on 9/11. Love you. And he responded back, yes, 9/11's today. Love you too. But yeah, I thought I'd share this experience because, wow, what a weird situation, what an unthinkable situation would be if my dad happened to be in that 9/11 scenario. Anyways, I'm uncomfortable. It's an interesting topic to talk about. But hey, 1/4 the way done with the book. Excited to share more next week to 17,000 pages or more. And I'll talk about more of the book next week. Cheers. Bye-bye.